to me during the presentation, please do so via the chat box. I've also spotlighted my video, and the video is streaming to YouTube, where it will remain forever. So because I've spotlighted my video, I should be the only person that shows up on YouTube. But if you are worried about showing up in the video, feel free to turn your video off. Throughout the presentation, I'll be asking questions, and yeah, please communicate with me in the chat box. Ask me any questions that you want to know. So here we go. Okay, so welcome to tonight's workshop. We're going to be talking about inner child healing, overcoming complex PTSD. So the agenda, we're going to be looking at what is complex PTSD, what are the symptoms of CPTSD, emotional flashbacks, how childhood causes CPTSD for many, many people. We're going to be looking at toxic shame, techniques to heal CPTSD, and finally we'll be talking about what you can do next. If anyone has any questions, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to again ask me in the chat box. I'll unmute everyone at the end and people can ask me questions then as well. So, still got a lot of people turning up, so I'm going to be a little bit distracted for the first few minutes. Okay, so what is CPTSD? CPTSD is suffered by prisoners of war and children who grow up in dysfunctional families. Some estimates say that it could be as much as 80% of people, because we all grow up with some form of dysfunction. So neglect, physical, mental, and emotional abuse, repeated and ongoing trauma from which there is no escape, and a reliance on your abusers. These are all going to cause, so just letting more people in, these are all going to cause CPTSD. Okay, more people. Okay, so yeah, that's that. So the symptoms of complex PTSD. We're going to suffer from anxiety. If we grow up in an environment where we don't feel safe, or even if one of our parents is anxious, we're going to learn that the world's not a safe place, and we're going to have underlying issues with anxiety. We're going to act out or act in. So we're either going to become narcissists and abusers ourselves, or we're going to act in and abuse ourselves, maybe through drug or alcohol addiction, maybe through sex addiction. We're also going to look to punish ourselves the same way that our parents may have punished us. So we're going to have issues with self-esteem, low confidence. As I said, a constant feeling of unease. We may become codependents and people pleasers. So we're all born with the four Fs. They are the fight, flight, fawn, or freeze response. And if a child is in an environment where they're constantly getting abused, they can't fight because they're obviously too small. They can't flight because, as we said previously, they're reliant on their parents to buy them clothes and put food in their belly. So they have two options. They can either freeze, which obviously isn't going to be all that an effective choice either, or they can fawn. They put their parents' needs before their own, and they can do things to keep their parents happy, to ensure that they don't get more damaged or beaten up. And then as adults, we can take this into adulthood. We can become codependents. We can be people pleasers, always putting other people before ourselves. We can also constantly be putting ourselves down. Someone with complex PTSD is going to have difficulty forming relationships. They may avoid flight, fight, fawn. Oh, that went to Gina. 1 second. Yep, Lorraine's got it. Fawn, F-A-W-N. Where was I? Oh, yeah, we're going to avoid relationships. We're going to have difficulty connecting with people, probably be distrusting of people. We're going to suffer emotional flashbacks. Again, we may have issues with dissociation. If we have a lot of trauma, we're going to, again, going back to the four Fs, the four trauma types. Another option that we would have, which would be part of the flight or freeze response, would be to allow our mind to go somewhere else. So although we can't physically escape, our mind can, and this can cause us to develop issues with dissociation, and it may even cause us to develop personality issues. What's the full name for CPTSD, please? So it's complex PTSD, complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Is it clear now? Let me know if it's clear now. It stands for complex post-traumatic stress disorder. So people who suffer one-off traumatic events, such as people who are in a war zone or a natural disaster, they will have PTSD. They will have post-traumatic stress disorder, where they are going to they're going to be suffering flashbacks. They're going to be suffering, they're going to be suffering regressing to the event and issues like that. They're going to For example, a car backfiring may remind them of a bomb explosion or a gunshot or something. So that's going to trigger flashbacks in them. Complex PTSD is complex. There's not just one, it's not a one-off trauma. It's lots and lots of traumatic events. So, okay. So that's the symptoms. So now we come to emotional flashbacks. So, as I was just saying, someone who suffers a severely traumatic event, they may develop post-traumatic stress disorder. And this is going to happen because when we're faced with trauma, we learn fast. We need to obviously remember that trauma so we don't get in the same situation again. So the amygdala is part of the limbic brain. It is responsible for our emotions and our emotional regulation, and it's also responsible for helping us to avoid traumatic events. So when we have PTSD, the memory or the association of the memory, the emotion of the memory is going to be stored in the amygdala. And when we are faced with danger or what we perceive to be danger, the amygdala is going to take over. And it's said that the amygdala can respond to events much faster than your mind. So you can be immediately reacting without having to think about or consider the situation. So going back to the 4 F's, the 4 trauma responses, we will, if we grow up with complex PTSD, we will overdevelop one of the trauma types. And because the trauma would have happened when we were too young, maybe we don't even remember the actual traumatic events. So we just remember the emotion that goes with them. And this can lead to what Pete Walker, who wrote a book called Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving, would call an amygdala hijacking. So the amygdala takes over. It's like a triggered response, like Pavlov's dog. Yeah, it's part of the reptile brain. So it's like, you know, it's in the very center of the brain. So that's one theory on emotional flashbacks. Another theory says that they're caused by the inner critic. And often when we suffer these flashbacks, they're often triggered by intimacy or the threat of intimacy. So when we were children, we were, you know, our first experiences of intimacy would have been with our parents. If one of those parents was abusive in some way, and we grow up and take that into other relationships, we're going to experience these emotional flashbacks when we are getting intimate with other people, and it can result in becoming triggered by the threat of intimacy. So if you have any questions, let me know in the chat box. Okay, so when we're children, until the age of 7, is known as the imprint period. And it's in this age range that we are learning. Thank you, Tina. It's in this age range that our neuroplasticity is at its highest, that we're learning all the most important stuff. It's when we're learning to walk, to talk, to feed ourselves. When we're learning about ourselves and our environment. So it's been shown that 90% of your brain is developed before the age of 5. So as babies, you know, humans are born with all the parts of the brain there, but as we're growing up, hello Catherine, as we are growing up, we are forming neural pathways, and these neural pathways are what builds the brain, what builds the memories and the brain itself. So as you learn something new, and as you repeat something, the stronger those pathways become. So as babies, we have no boundaries, and we will internalize everything. We're looking to the people around us to form our identity, and we're looking for our parents and caregivers. No, but if you want to watch the video afterwards, it will be on YouTube. So we're looking to our parents and caregivers to help us form our sense of identity, to teach us about the world and ourselves. So if these people around us have unresolved trauma, we're going to pick up on that. Even if, you know, our mother is anxious, we're going to pick up on that, and we're going to form the belief that the world's not a safe place. If our parents are abusive, we're going to internalize that abuse. We're going to think it means there's something wrong with us. Like I said, if your parents are putting you down all the time, telling you that there's something wrong with you, you're going to take that on board. You're going to form the belief that there's something wrong with you, and you're going to internalize that, and that's going to become part of your identity. So negative self-talk. So because if you internalize this abuse, it's going to, you're basically internalizing that abusive parent, and you're going to develop issues with negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is an inner dialogue that you have with yourself, an inner critic, a hijacked superego. It's because you've internalized the abuser, and this internalized abuser can keep attacking you, long after the abusive parent has died. It can attack some people right up until their own death. And this internalized abuser can keep you stuck in a negative cycle. And it can make you find yourself in abusive relationships. It can tell you you deserve to be treated badly. It can tell you there's something wrong with you. It can cause all sorts of problems. So different types of negative self-talk. You may be a perfectionist. If you try to be perfect, you'll never be good enough. Perfectionism is also a way that, some children from abusive or dysfunctional families learn to matter by being a super achiever. If they're not achieving, they may be getting beaten up or abused, so they learn to be perfect. All or nothing thinking. So it can also be called black or white thinking. Some examples of this would be thinking you'll never be good enough, you'll always fail. So there's no in between, it's either or. Pessimism, always worrying about the worst case scenario, always thinking that things will go wrong, always looking for things to go wrong. Calling yourself names. It can also involve projecting negativity onto others and gossiping about people. Or there's projecting past experiences onto others, thinking everyone is out to get us or harm us. So it's a low vibration energy. And low vibration energy is a parasite that wants to spread. Yep, pessimist. Yep. So does anyone have any questions? Let me know in the chat box if you have any questions. Yep. Yeah, I used to be like that as well. I still do. I still am quite pessimistic, but I don't call myself names anymore. Okay, so different kinds again, comparing yourself to others. This is obviously like a big issue these days with social media and Facebook. People just post their best pictures, and look, as someone looking at that from the outside, we can think that everyone's doing great and we're losers because we're not driving the cars that they're driving or living in the kind of house that they're living in. But we're only seeing what they're posting, what they want us to see. We're not actually seeing the full story, what's really going on. So we're not getting a full picture. Yep, that's very good advice, Sarvin. Yes. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to other people. And look to be better every day. So relationships, it can also cause us, as I said, growing up with abuse can cause us to fear intimacy. It can cause us to project past experiences on to other people, potential partners. It can also cause us to become abusive and look to avoid intimacy. It can cause us to be abusive it can cause us to be abusive to avoid intimacy. How can you make the people around you understand emotional intelligence? I'm not sure. I don't. In what way? Can you elaborate on that more? How would you want them to understand emotional intelligence? Still getting people turning up. Yep. You said you need help. Yeah, that's right, Safa. Yes. Yeah. Do you mean emotional intelligence or emotional flashbacks? So we're going to be attracted to the people that will traumatize us. These are known as attractions of deprivation. And this is why many people, yeah. Many people find themselves, yes, Cece. That's very true. That's very true, Selena. Yes. We can't really influence other people. We can't make other people feel anything. Just like other people can't make us feel anything. Emotions come from within. So if people don't get that, then you can't really do anything about it. Okay, so going back to the presentation, we're going to be most attracted to the people that will traumatize us. Attractions of deprivation are caused by traumatic experiences in childhood, and we all experienced it. We feel most drawn to the people that embody the worst emotional characteristics of our primary caregivers. So we're going to be looking to relationships to resolve our unresolved childhood trauma. And so, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be a partner of the opposite sex. If our, say, mother was abusive and we're male, doesn't have to be that we are attracted to, well, if we were homosexual, we wouldn't necessarily be attracted to women like our mother, we'd be attracted to men like our mother. Or if our father were the abusive one, say a narcissist, we're going to be attracted to narcissistic women. So it doesn't have to be the opposite sex parent that is the abusive one. It's the worst emotional trait of either parent. So unconsciously, we're going to seek the healing of these wounds in our relationships and seek out people that will irritate these wounds so that we can heal them. Any questions? Let me know in the chat box. Yep. Yeah. Yes, people, yeah, you know, that would be what I was saying about projection, Kojo. So when people are speaking badly of others, you know, it could be that they are projecting, that they are looking to elevate themselves by putting other people down. That's very narcissistic behavior. Which part? The attractions of deprivation? You know, it's all a theory, but attractions of deprivation is widely accepted psychological theory. Yes, yeah, it is a theory, but it's widely accepted to be true. Okay. So all abuse is the transfer of shame. So John Bradshaw said that shame is a healthy human emotion that can be transformed into a state of being, and shame takes over one's whole identity. So, as I said previously, if we grow up with a lot of dysfunction, we're going to internalize that and think it means there's something wrong with us. This is going to cause us to suffer shame. It can result in addiction, obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety, attachment issues, and relationship problems. So, yeah. And then we come to say a narcissist, or someone who, as you said, is talking badly about other people. That person is going to have they're going to have a lot of shame that they need, that that's making them feel bad, and to overcome those bad feelings, they're going to project that onto other people and transfer it onto other people. Mindfulness and CBT, yes, Barbara. And hypnosis, obviously. Yeah, you know, as Barbara said, you know, mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, these can all help us to recognize these habits. Not just cognitive behavioral therapy, there are other kind of similar therapies to that. Internal and external boundary, can you clarify? How do you mean, Arvin? When you're a baby? When you're a baby, everything, you're not going to see anything as separate from you. You're going to see everything as part of you. And so, yeah, there are no external boundaries when you're a baby. Everything is an internal object. It's only as you start to grow that you start to, I think around 2 or 3, around toddlerhood is when you start to disconnect from your parents and start to realize that you're separate from them. How do attachment issues affect a relationship? In many ways. If you grew up with a lot of abuse, you're going to have the attractions of deprivation. So you're going to be looking to recreate the abuse. You may become unreasonable or abusive yourself to try and create that abuse, to make people, abuse you, even if people are nice and decent people. We can turn them into abusers, just to prove what we believe about the world. It could be that we believe all women or men are abusive, so we're going to look to recreate that. It can also affect relationships because, as I said, you can have emotional flashbacks, so you're emotionally dysregulated, which is going to cause all kinds of relationship issues. You can also become aggressive yourself to try and avoid abuse. Yeah, and there's that constant push-pull, especially when we have a lot of abuse. There's going to be a constant push-pull, so we're going to be... That's fine, Catherine. There's going to be a constant, like a narcissistic relationship, I suppose. There's going to be a love bombing phase, and then there's going to be a pushing people away phase. So does that answer your questions? Let me know if you have any other questions. Poor old Ruben. How does a controlling mother affect their daughter in a relationship? How do we manage to turn nice people against us? Okay. Anger. Yeah, anger. Yeah, anger. If we have a lot of abuse in our childhood, we can definitely become very angry, have a lot of anger issues. We can turn nice people against us. We can turn nice people against us because we're not used to people being nice to us, and so when people are, we can react to that. We can, I certainly used to have issues. If someone was overly nice to me, it would trigger me and cause like a big problem, a big emotional flashback, and I would become quite abusive. So it's not remembering most of your childhood, and so having no idea. Do you think it's important to dig into your childhood? I've been remembering some weird and distressing things lately. See a lot of people who say they don't remember their childhood. And yeah, when we have abuse, as I said previously, we can dissociate. But the other thing to remember is that your mind can't tell the difference between a real or imagined event. So digging into, your mind to try and bring up memories, it may not give you the right answers. So I'm not sure that I would recommend digging into it for that purpose. No, absolutely not. To connect with emotions, yes, that would be advisable. People are nice to you, but they can't cope with you. Yeah. Yeah, it's very bad to lie, because if you lie, you're twisting reality, and it can affect you as well. And keep you at arm's length. Yeah. What was your question, Annette? Can you let us know again? Yeah, you just want to be loved. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Okay. So when people have a lot of trauma in childhood, they can have issues with remembering their childhood. But your mind can't tell the difference between a real or an imagined event. So if you, if you're trying to explain the way you are, then you may be remembering things that may not be correct. So I wouldn't recommend trying to remember your childhood. I would recommend trying to reconnect with the emotions of your childhood and to be accepting of anything that comes up. I hope that answers your question. Okay. So healing techniques. So yeah. He doesn't sound very nice, Catherine. He does sound bad. What was his childhood like? Do you know anything about his childhood? Yeah, that's very true as well. Well, these are the answers that I'm giving. Yeah, he does sound, as I said previously, Catherine, yeah, yeah. Okay, so things that we can do. So who brought him up then? Okay, so techniques we can do. We can do breathing techniques. When we breathe, we are bringing ourselves into the present moment. focusing on the breath. The breath is the only constant, so it can help us to relax. So you must have had a hard upbringing. Probably had a lot of things that he wanted to forget. So yeah, as someone else has said, Catherine, yeah. Okay, so box breathing. So box breathing involves breathing in the shape of a box. So breathing in for 5, holding the breath for 5, breathing out for 5, and then holding the space between breaths for 5. So if you'd like to try that now, just breathe in for 5, hold the space for 5, breathe out for 5, then hold the space between breaths for 5. Just do that a few times. Notice yourself becoming more relaxed. Something else we can do is called 7-11 breathing. So that involves breathing in for the count of 7 and then elongating the out breath, breathing out for the count of 11. You'd like to try that now. Breathing in for 7 and breathing out for 11. And EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique. It works on the principle of Chinese medicine and meridian points around the body. So you go around the various meridian points around the body and tap on those points to release any negative or blocked energy. You've lost my face. Okay, something else, again, mindfulness. So mindfulness is very effective, especially with negative self-talk and inner critic attacks. So the purpose of mindfulness is not to stop thoughts, is to become aware of them and to notice them as something separate from ourselves. So mindfulness meditation, you know, you'd notice the breath flowing in, flowing out, and just notice any thoughts that come up and to just label them, not to label them as good or bad, but just as thinking. And hypnosis is an extremely... EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, Annie. And then there's hypnosis. Now, hypnosis is a focused state of attention. It's not sleep. It is... what exercises could you use? It's a focused state of attention. So if you've ever driven somewhere, got into your destination and not remembered the journey, that would be a state of hypnosis. If you've ever been reading a book, lost track of time, that would be a state of hypnosis. So who wants to try some hypnosis? Let me know in the chat box. Let me know in the chat box if you'd like to try some hypnosis. Yes. Yes. Yep. What's the difference between hypnosis and dissociation? Hypnosis is, as I said, a focused state of attention, something that you're looking to do. And dissociation is when you kind of involuntarily drift off to somewhere else. In terms of complex PTSD, dissociation in it can be used in, it's a term for techniques that can be used in hypnosis to disconnect you from events. Okay, so I'll just invite you all to make yourselves comfortable. And when you're ready, you can just allow your eyes to close. Your eyes closed, you can begin focusing on your breath. Notice the air flowing in, flowing out. When you breathe in, breathe all the way down into your stomach. Notice your stomach rising. Breathing out, notice the stomach falling. Maybe you can notice that the in-breath is slightly cooler than the out-breath. See if you can feel yourself relaxing more with breathing in, breathing out. Maybe you can imagine yourself breathing in relaxation. As you breathe out, you're just releasing any tension, any stresses, or strain. Just focusing on the top of your head. Just imagine all the tiny muscles in the forehead just flattening out, letting go, releasing. That relaxation flows down your face, into your cheek, running down into your jaw, down into your throat, round into the back of your neck, just releasing, letting go. So it drifts down, down. Maybe you can feel the vertebrae, all the tiny bones in your spine, just comfortably relaxing, releasing as you drift deeper deeper into a wonderful state of relaxation and trance, drifting down, down, becoming more and more relaxed with every breath. Allow each breath to take you deeper, deeper down. Allowing that relaxation to flow down into your legs. Just becoming aware of yourself supported there. Feel your body touching down on that surface. Maybe your arms and legs are becoming loose and limp, floppy, releasing more and more as they go. That relaxation just continues to flow. And your conscious mind can drift and dream as your unconscious begins to take control. And your unconscious knows just how much to hold on, how much to let go. When you were a child and you were learning to take those first steps, your unconscious knew just when to let go to allow you to safely, securely place one foot in front of the other. You instinctively knew to keep your hands out in front of you, above your head, to catch you if you should fall. So your unconscious really knows just how much to hold on, how much to let go. So you really can just allow yourself to drift and dream, just listening to the sound of my voice. Any other sound can allow you to relax even more. All the time drifting deeper, deeper down. I wonder if you can get a sense of yourself floating up out of your body, looking back at a version of you supported there. I wonder if you can imagine a time of complete relaxation. Maybe you have a special place where you'd like to relax and let go. Maybe you can picture yourself there now, remembering the most relaxed you've ever been. Allow yourself to really connect with that relaxation. Really connect with that place. Could be a place that you've been to before, somewhere different, somewhere you've just made up. In this place you feel completely safe, relaxed and at ease. Enjoying calm, peace. And in a moment, I'd like you to imagine yourself drifting up across your timeline, looking back, maybe memories and things in the past. As you look down on those things, you can feel yourself disconnected from them in some way. It could be as though, you know, when you're doing something and you've got the TV on in the background. It doesn't matter what's playing out on that TV. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad, happy, sad. You can just allow your conscious mind to drift and dream as your unconscious just allows yourself to reprocess any memories, to send down lots of versions of you, to change anything that you want to change from the past. Maybe remove yourself from a situation, maybe stick up for yourself in some way. Allowing that to happen now. All the time you're unconscious and continue processing those old memories, and your conscious mind can stay in this place of relaxation, releasing and letting go, becoming more and more relaxed and at ease, releasing anything that you want to release. Maybe you can get a sense or a feeling of yourself becoming lighter. Allowing that to happen now. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I reach the number 5, you can open your eyes and come back to the present, noticing how good you feel. Begin counting now. 1, just allowing the sensation to return to your feet and flow up your legs. 2, flowing up your body. 3, down your arms and into your hands. 4, and on the next number you can come back to the present, noticing how good you feel. 5, eyes open, wide awake. If you like that hypnosis session, let me know in the chat box. Cool. Yeah, I met lots of people experience it in different ways. But yeah, did you enjoy it? Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Marcia. I'm glad to hear that you liked it. Your cat did. Fabulous. Excellent. Okay. Felt connected. Excellent. Thank you, Catherine. Okay, so exercises that you can take away with you. Some things that you can take away and do for yourself to help yourself heal your inner child. You can write a letter to your parents and tell them everything that you feel you missed out on as a child, what you feel they did to you. It's not to give to them, it's just for your benefit. It's good if you can forgive them. People think that I'm gaslighting them when I say that they should forgive. Forgiveness is something that you do for your benefit. It's not for the other person's benefit. When you forgive, you're just releasing the negative energy, the negative feelings and emotions that you feel. And yeah, so it's not about making what they did okay. It's just about stop letting it affect you and stop wanting to get revenge or to resent it. If you can get a hold of yourself, if you can get a hold of the picture of your younger self and put it somewhere where you'll see it regularly, that's really helpful. Maybe put it in, your wallet or your purse and just really reconnect with that. Yep. Connected in a group chat. I do have a Facebook group, Catherine. I don't know if you've joined it. Okay, so what can we do next? Yeah. Okay, so what can we do next? So I have, starting in May, I have a group coaching program, which will involve 8 coaching sessions. All the coaching sessions will be recorded. You're going to get access to a exclusive Facebook group. You're going to get messenger support for the full 8 weeks. You're going to get weekly exercises and a workbook. We're going to integrate all ages of the inner child, from infant to adolescent. It can... Thank you, Zoe. Thank you for coming. It can help to reduce anxiety, can increase confidence and self-esteem. You will be able to have better control of your emotions and impulses. If you ring me, Gina, because I'm not sure if I've still got your number, so just give me a call and then I'll call you back. And yeah, reconnect with your emotions. Again, emotions are something that we get shamed out of as children. They're not something that we should try and avoid. They're something that we should connect with, not something that we should feel ashamed of. So that is the 8-week program. Let me know in the chat box if you think that sounds like something that you'd like to do, something that you'd like to know more about. Let me know in the chat. keep checking YouTube and forgetting that you can all see my screen. Yeah, I'll give you a call. I'll give you a call as well, Catherine. Yes. Okay. Okay, so the usual price of my inner child program is $299. As I say, it's an 8-week program. It's a group program. So the usual price is $299. For being on this call, I'm offering a special price today. It's $149. So who thinks that sounds like a good idea? Let me know in the chat box if you'd like to know more about that. Excellent. Okay. Oh, that's gone as one moment. Okay, so there, if you'd like to talk to me, you can book a free coaching session via my website there. If you'd like to sign up for the workshop, you can sign up for it via my website, via the link I just shared in the chat there. Use the coupon code workshop and you will get it for $149. So you get it half price. As I say, if you have further questions, anything else you'd like to know, you can book a call with me via that link, and we can discuss it then. Is the webinar recorded? Yes, it's going to be on my YouTube channel. I will share with you the link to my YouTube channel. One moment. The link to my YouTube channel is right there. Okay, does anyone have any questions? Let me know if you have any questions. Any questions, anything you'd like to know, let me know in the chat box. And there's a link to my YouTube channel once again. Okay, so just going back to the, thank you, Sonia. Thank you. Okay, so people who have done the inner child program previously have given feedback on it. Why can't we all go on the live chat? You are on the live chat, Catherine. And so this is some feedback from them. More feedback. And so that is the end of the presentation. If you have any questions, can you pay in installments? Yes, you can. I can offer a payment plan. As I said, if you want to talk to me about that, you can just book a time. Just book a time with me there and we can discuss that further. How do we connect on FB? Okay, 1 second. I will share with you my... so being triggered by intimacy. So if your parents abused you or abandoned you in some way, you're going to associate that, that your relationship with your parents was your first experience of, an intimate relationship. So if that relationship was abusive, you're going to get triggered by intimacy when you experience future relationships. If you have had some kind of enmeshment trauma, you may, it sounds a bit wrong, but you may feel like you're cheating on the parent that's enmeshed you when you are being intimate with someone, which can also lead to to you becoming triggered and even abusive to that person. So the group's there, Catherine, so you can join the group via that link in the chat. Does that answer your question about being triggered by intimacy? Let me know. There's another webinar. If you look on my Meetup or Eventbrite groups, you will see there. I think there's another webinar on Thursday. And on, yes, Catherine, what would you like to know? And on next week, there's going to be another inner child workshop, which is going to be about toxic shame. Any other questions? Let me know in the chat. Yeah, so yeah, you're triggered because of past abuse, yeah. Toxic shame. You're gonna have to come to my next workshop to find that out, Annie. Toxic, yeah, you're gonna have to come to the workshop. It's complex. As I said previously in this workshop, all abuse is the transfer of shame. So, yeah. Any other questions? Let me know. What does this have to do with intimacy? Not all intimacy involves abuse. That's right, not all intimacy does involve abuse. As I said previously, we're going to look to recreate the worst emotional traits of our caregivers. So if one of our parents was abusive, we're going to look to recreate that in our intimate relationships so we can heal that wound. We're going to keep repeating the situation until we find a way to overcome it. So that's going to affect our intimate relationships. Another way it's going to happen if our mother was abusive in some way, and we find ourselves in as I said previously, that's going to be our first experience of intimacy. So if that experience is abusive, we are going to become triggered by future intimate experiences, and we're going to experience emotional flashbacks or issues around that. So I hope that answers your question. Can I explain EFT? Yeah, EFT, as I said, it works on the basis of meridian points around the body. How many on my 8-week course? I'm actually, when I've done it previously, I've limited it to 8. This time I'm not going to be putting a limit on it, so it's probably going to be 8 or 10 people that are going to be doing it. But yeah, as I said, if you want to find out more about that, you know, you can book a time with me there, and we can have a chat about it on that link. Okay, the best way to overcome childhood wounds is meditation and self-awareness. Yeah, I would say it is. What is the quickest way to heal? Using hypnosis, we can desensitize traumatic events, we can reconnect with our inner child, and we can, as I said previously, the conscious mind can't tell a real or imagined event. So by imagining ourselves the way we want to be, we're going to create those neural pathways in the brain, and we're going to become more the person that we want to become. So that's 3 ways that hypnosis can help us to heal. And I believe that's 3 ways that hypnosis is the quickest way to heal the inner child. Any other questions? Yeah, I'd say is it normal to have very fragmented childhood memory but still get triggered by whatever I remember? Even good memories can affect my current relationships. Yes, I would say it is. Not, as I said, you know, when people were nice to me, that was when I would get most triggered. I can't go, you know, I'm not going to go into that publicly because it's personal to me. But yeah, that was when I got most triggered. So absolutely. So visualization and manifestation. That's kind of law of attraction type stuff. But yes, the more you visualize yourself the way you want to be, the more you're going to become that person. Any other questions? Let me know in the chat. No other questions? Okay, excellent.